Welcome to OkState Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. Hey, this one's about softball, and it's all about the Cowgirl Invitational and this Cowgirl team that now is 17-2 on the season as the Cowgirls took down Seattle in a really good close game early on Friday, and then they took down Drake in a less close game for the nightcap 13-1 in 5 innings to conclude the Cowgirl Invitational. But it was a great weekend of Cowgirl softball, and boy, I'll tell you what, this is a team, you're talking about a team that has pitching, you're talking about a team that has hitting, you're talking about a team that has depth. Let's look at this depth. Ivy Rosenberry, ERA 0.24. Lexi Kilfoyle, ERA 0.96. Katie Coots, 2.67. Kyra Acock, how about this, 3.20. By the way, I was very, very proud of Kyra. She came in and did a really good job with the game on the line. There was just enough pressure in that Seattle game to make the girls have to perform and really lock in and feel some scoreboard pressure. And so you like that, but they still got to come away with the victory and feel that at the same. So, hey, let's dive into it. Let's dive into the Cowgirl Invitational. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it, and let's talk Cowgirl softball. So the Cowgirls have 2 young ladies that are hitting over 400. How about Claire Tim? 463 on the season, slugging percentage of 722, and her on-base percentage is 508. Claire is just simply a fantastic player. Rosie Davis has just been simply fantastic as well. 449 on the season and an on-base percentage of 518. By the way, the Cowgirls on the year have hit 32 home runs and given up just 5. That's simply amazing. Again, this is a team that can pitch. This is a team that has depth in pitching. I went over that earlier. This is a team that can hit home runs. This is also a team that can gather base hits. Now, to kind of give you an example of that, the Cowgirls have 180 hits on the season, and of those, 32 are home runs, and they have 33 doubles. One thing this Cowgirl team is really good doing, it's very obvious, and sometimes the ball carries far enough to be a home run. They hit the ball gap to gap, and I mean, they go from pull gap to opposite field gap. They're just great at it. Some of Carly Godwin's hits are just perfect examples of that. Talent Edwards is simply fantastic at it. And then girls like Rosie Davis, Claire Tim, they hit the ball up the middle, man. They use the big part of the field. So the big advantage of that, when you're hitting balls up the middle and you're thinking gap to gap, just think from left center to right center or right center to left center. That's the biggest part of the field, right? So that's where all your hits are at. That's the part of the field where the defenders have the most amount of room to cover. So just from that odds perspective, you're going to get more hits if you think gap to gap and if you think up the middle. And these Cowgirls are just simply fantastic at it. Caroline Wong had a big home run this weekend. She's hitting 386 on the season. Slugging percentage for her, Caroline Wong, 807, 6 home runs. 6 home runs for Caroline Wong in 22 hits. So more than a quarter of Caroline Wong's hits have been home runs, and also she's hitting 386. That's insane. Talent Edwards, one of the most talented young players in all. I mean, she just makes hitting look easy. 389 on the season, 4 home runs for her, 17 RBIs. Carly Godwin, who does such a great job, another just tremendous young hitter. How about this? 20 RBIs on the season, 355 batting average. She's done just a wonderful job. 5 doubles and 4 home runs. That's what I'm kind of talking about. Carly Godwin is just extremely good at gap to gap. She gets a lot of doubles, and if the ball happens to have enough backspin because of the pitch location or whatever, if she hits the bottom of the ball enough, then it goes out for a home run. That's why you see her have almost the exact same amount of doubles as you do home runs. Tia Warsop, 385 on the season, and boy, she has been simply fantastic. A 385 on base percentage for her. So this is an offense that can hit home runs. Just let me give you an example. 32 home runs and 33 doubles. That goes to exactly what I'm talking about. That the Cowgirls hit a lot of gap-to-gap doubles, and then sometimes, or equal amount of times, it gets up in the air and it becomes a home run. When you're talking about 33 doubles, 32 home runs, that is a hitting approach that works because, again, you're not trying to hit home runs. You're trying to hit the ball in the gap to the biggest part of the field, and that is absolutely a great way to try to hit. Jillian Pollard, she had a gigantic home run this weekend as well on the season. That was her second home run she hit this weekend, and she has 10 RBIs as well. So Jillian Pollard has done simply a fantastic job. And hey, how about Hayden Sokolowski, the young lady out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex? And hey, how about that catch that she had going up against the left field wall in the part of the game where the Cowgirls only had a 3-run lead? And if that's a home run, that would have been a 3-run home run and tied the game. She climbs the wall in left field and then later on comes up with a huge hit in the game as well. And this is from a young player in this system that basically has just been depth to this point. Hayden Sokolowski, it's called controlling what you can control. Control the opportunities you get. Just do the best with them when you get them. Well, how about this? On the season, she has 14 at-bats. She has exactly 7 hits, and one of those is a home run and 6 RBIs. Long and lanky, covers a lot of room there in left field, and made that just tremendous catch this weekend. So, hey, it was definitely a team effort. The crowds were great. Everything was just simply fantastic. The broadcasts were simply great. Casey Kendrick does a great job on the video broadcast side of things with there. So I think Coach Gajewski has to come out. When you look at all the pitching that the Cowgirls got in this weekend, you got 4 girls in, and you had enough scoreboard pressure to where it actually mattered. Ivy Rosenberry, again, has been completely dominant. Lexi Kilfoyle has been dominant. Kyra Aycock, I thought, pitched good this weekend. There's still some room to grow. That's another thing. This group, they can hit for home runs, they can hit for average, they can hit gap to gap, they can steal bases, they can do a lot of things. But then also it's a great mix of really, really nice young players. This freshman class is just simply insanely talented. And then that's mixed with, like Coach Gajewski likes to do a lot, with some older transfer players that have come in and really played a big role as far as being the older mentor type veteran that have experience that can kind of show the younger players the ropes as to how this goes. So it was a fun weekend. I thoroughly enjoyed watching both games on Friday afternoon and covering them. If you haven't done it, go to my OkState Daily Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I have all the video cut-ups of the action from this weekend. So the Cowgirls are in action again on Wednesday. They take on Wichita State. So make sure and tune in to that. Rosie Davis, as a matter of fact, on the doubleheader Friday, she went 4 for 5 to move her batting average to 449. And so she had just a tremendous weekend. I talked about Carly Godwin and the way that she hits the ball in the opposite field. 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs, 4th home run of the season, 355 OPS 1020. So some great action from the Cowgirl Invitational. Also, the baseball team had a wonderful weekend as well. We can integrate both of those in a little bit together. Hey, Jillian Pollard mentioned her home run, 2nd home run of 2024, opposite field. And how about her first home run? Who can forget that? The home run where the Cowgirls were at Stetson. They were actually at Stetson, and they got way behind early in the game. Got the game back tied, and Jillian Pollard hit her first home run over the right field wall to give the Cowgirls a 9-6 lead in that game. Sweet swinging, left-handed swing for Pollard. 321 on the season, OPS 1008, 10 RBIs and 28 at-bats. We mentioned Hayden Sokolowski from Flower Mound, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Definitely made the most of her opportunities with the 500 batting average. And then, wow, the play that she made in left field simply was fantastic. And then how about the pinch hit from Katie Lott? Katie Lott, she had her name called, and hey, whenever you have your name called on a talented team like this, when you have this many good players, you got to be ready. And like Sokolowski was, so is Katie Lott. She came up in a pinch hit situation and hit her 2nd home run of the season. She's a sophomore from Cypress. How about this? Slugging percentage of 810, on-base percentage of 318, in 21 at-bats. Talon Edwards, mentioned her, batting average of 389. Claire Tim, 463. Rosie Davis, 449. And Edwards and Tim both had triples, whereas Rosie Davis had a double. Carly Godwin, Caroline Wong, and Michaela Wark all went yard in the Seattle game as well. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then Ivy Rosenberry, mentioned her, how she'd been dominant, moved to 4-0, did not give up an earned run in her 4 innings. She struck out 5, walked just 2, and her ERA down to an 0.24. And then also Catherine Ogg finished the last inning scoreless, and she hasn't allowed a run in her 2 outings as well. Kyra Aycock, we talked about her coming in relief, had a really good 1 2/3 innings on Friday, got some huge outs with the game on the line, as I mentioned earlier, and also got her first save of the season as well. Also with the Cowgirls, I want to read this. I got this message from somebody I was messaging back and forth with on Twitter, and it says, unless I added this wrong, Ivy Rosenberry went 22 innings pitched without giving up a run until Drake scored in the 4th, which was unearned. So her streak of 23 innings pitched without giving up an earned run is still intact. Lexi Kilfoyle is at 24 innings pitched without giving up a run. And he says, hey, if you read this on the air, you're probably going to jinx them. So if something happens, you can blame OkState Daily. Hey, how about that? That's going to do it for today's show. Glad you tuned in. Thank you so much again for tuning in. And until next time, that would be Wednesday night. That is Wichita State at Cowgirls Stadium. So long, and go Cowgirls.